and welcome to MindShifters Radio. Today is Monday, January the 12th, 2026. Hope it's warmer where you are than where we are. It was 19 degrees this morning, and I think it has finally got up to about 32. But we welcome you to the show, and welcome, Michael.
Thank you, dear heart. And I particularly liked the smile that you opened your words with. Thank you for blessing us. And welcome, everybody. Delighted that you're here. Delighted that we get to go to the next level of everything to do with first century Aramaic forgiveness and all the corollary tools that go hand in hand with the process. So we'll say hello to the two Susans. Welcome, and wonder if either of you have anything to share with us.
I just saw when Jeanie started, there was an orb that just went right past her at the beginning, right in front.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I was too concerned with the smile. I was still watching the smile.
So
ever since you had mentioned that in one of the previous group meetings we did, I've noticed they happen all the time.
Yeah, I know. It just went right by you, went floating right by you. So I wanted to just point that out. Yeah, so obviously someone's with you.
Beings with you, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Awesome. So I just want to say that.
So you're drinking your
I'm off coffee.
What do you call it? Tea?
I'm off coffee, and so since I committed when I dumped my coffee down the sink, and I went to the dandelion stuff. That's what I'm drinking.
Well, I like the words on your cup. Patrick has a friend who manufactures a T-shirt, and on the back of the T-shirt it says, "He who smiles first wins."
Oh,
it's like,
all the little chakras.
Living in human life. Say again.
It's interesting. It is all about love. It's getting so clear. And then Andrea and Anita were over last night. We did so much processing last night. Oh my gosh! And after I followed up with you, and then
you guys are becoming processing junkies. Good for you.
Oh, it's crazy. And they were there. So we did our codependency and interdependency work, and then they were here till they came. They were here by 4, and then they stayed. It was almost 10:30. Doing process work. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's all
anything exciting in particular to report in the processing that happened?
Lots of processing. Believe it or not, it had to do with shame around women who, get in relationship with married men. That was processing around that. It was around sexual abuse as little as young as babies, and that also things being locked in the unconscious, but around those things, but physiology releasing it, just listening to the body, not the mind, because right when it happens that age, you don't live young before 2 or 3, right? You don't have explicit memory. It's not locked. You can't find it with words.
Right.
You don't have language for it, so it's locked in the implicit memory, and so finding it through just being when the physiology will reveal the truth when you can sit in the body, but the mind can't find the memories. And I was saying, when it comes to sexual abuse as a young age, what happens, it's too much for the psyche to bear. When that happens, it's going to implode otherwise. So what happens is we leave the body, and the awareness actually leaves, but the experience happens on the body. But you're not there, so people are searching.
Stored in karma-based memory.
Yeah, and people are searching their memory bank for seeing it, but your awareness wasn't there, so you don't have the memory to find it. It's locked in the carbon base, exactly, gone unconscious, until the body's ready to receive it, and the readiness, I want to say, the mind-body unit to process it. So it was a lot of stuff about that, and also helping Andrea being in that she's safe now. She doesn't have to be hyper vigilant, because we went to this event and she brought up that she was constantly scanning, and then she didn't ask for help, and we didn't know that we could sense. Both Anita and I were at the same table with her and could sense stuff, but we didn't know what was up. So we had just lots of opportunity. The team's there. You can hold her hands if you need me to hold your hand, or I can, co-regulate with you, whatever you need. And that's another thing. People that haven't been able to lean in as children, it is not even a tool that you consider as an adult. and I know this because that was my experience, and I'm getting much better now, but initially it wasn't even a thought that I could lean into anybody, because it wasn't, when as a kid, it was not, it was unsafe, and also the ramifications, it would be used against you, all that stuff. But now, building that into the toolbox or into our tool belt, that we have a community that's really safe. And even though the carbon-based memory says you can't lean in, you get to, and I was telling the girls last night the importance of overriding the thought forms and staying with what you know. I know God is love. Love wins. I know this to be true. But my carbon-based memory and my false self-identity will tell me something different. So can I hold love, conscious, active, and present, like we said last night, while the carbon-based memory comes front and forward? And the old thought forms, feelings on the body, all the stuff that's happening, and just being present, trust what I know versus what I see and what I'm experiencing. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so that
Absolutely.
really, yeah, that really is front and center. And that, lots is happening in the world, and it's starting to solidify. I was said last night about being called to do the retreat in Kauai. It's really, and I want to talk to you about that after. Maybe I'll give you a call. I got stuff going on today, but it's really, and I've known this for 2 years, that there was going to be something coming at the end of 2026 in Kauai, but I didn't know what. But now it's starting to, the revelation is coming. So, yeah, and just trusting in that, even though all the other stuff that my human says, how am I going to do that? All that stuff. And then leaning into support, that people that have the tools and the different gifts that they have that can support and bring this to fruition, because it's not about me, it's about humanity, and it's about your work. So yeah,
Holding the space.
so we get to bring this to every heart, mind, and soul on the planet. And what I
Yay.
know for certain is to hold the frequency of true pure love. That's the key, is in the starting gate, to the compass analogy that I gave last night. And for
Yeah.
those that may not have been on the call last night, I talked about having a compass. And I'm a forester by training, so I've spent lots of years using a compass in the woods. So that's why they gave me this analogy, the higher beings. But imagine when you start a destination, and if the inclination, you set the inclination to where you're going. And if it's, let's say it's supposed to be going due north at 360 degrees, but I inadvertently set it at 2 degrees. So 2 degrees off. But initially, it's not a big deal. And you continue, but as you start to move from the inclination of north, and you're off 2 degrees, the separation gets wider and wider and wider, and you're completely off the path of your destination.
You're shooting for the moon, and you may end at Mars.
Exactly.
Yeah, over that distance. Yeah.
And the importance of, it's really, the beings are telling me the importance of being rooted in the purity of truth at the start, because, and they showed me that many beautiful beings wanted to bring the truth of God forward, but they didn't do their own work fully and completely. So the distortion they saw in the reality, that has to play out, because you're always being asked to clean up your own mind. And if you can't hold purity at the beginning, or you can't see, and you're in denial patterns and dissociation of yourself, then be prepared. And especially when it goes wide to the masses, and we're starting to move from a group of, a couple hundred people or 50 people, and you're bringing out to thousands of people, that disconnection will be amplified in such a way. And then can the consciousness hold it that is there bringing the truth for God? And it's taking me to back when they showed me, or God showed me a V, and then showed me the truth of the power of love, and then the love of power, and the choosers here.
Divergence.
Yeah, and so it's exactly, so this must be rooted in truth. There is only one truth, and I can tell you, in my own service to God, it is to be in divine will. There is no personal will. The personal will there is only God. I just get to be an emanation of it in this form and bring it to humanity. And so it's so important. And, now I get to see, oh my God, now I know why this all hasn't happened before, because I wasn't ready, and I would have imploded. because I had wounding and childhood patterns and things that I would have took things personal, all that stuff. So cleaning up the mind, especially with your work, has been, just
Been interesting over the years. We've had several people who've, I'm going to go on the road and I'm going to do Michael Ryce. And it's like, no, stop. If you want to teach, great. Stay home. It's cheap to stay home. When you go on the road, it gets really expensive. And here's what's going to happen. Everything you've not dealt with, somebody's going to show up to bring it up for you. That's just part of the process of bringing it forward. So stay home, work through those things. Then if you're ready to go on the road, great, go on the road. But don't jump out there and go on the road right away, because it's you got to do the work. There's no way to storm the gates. The work has to be done. And one of the first things you were talking about around the idea of abuse, oftentimes, though the memory isn't there, if we're using the breath fully, if we allow the breath to flow fully into physiology, then the carbon-based memory issue energy will be dissolved by the breath. And as the breath deepens, those things disappear. And then one of the reasons in the Healing Through Relationships workshop for the commitment, and why it's grown and been adjusting for 40 plus years since I first started working with it, is that when we have an inclination in carbon-based memory to go somewhere off the trail, if we've got a commitment to that's in alignment with being, that's consciously chosen in alignment with being, then that excuse I talked about the other day, when people say to somebody, well, why did you do that? Oh, I felt like it. It's like, okay, so let's never do anything we feel like doing ever again. Let's always go back to what's the core of truth. Is this in alignment with truth? And go for it. And then make sure that you're accurate with your truth. The ego having a cheap copy of everything that's real in the spiritual dimension. One of the big issues in the world is the need to be right. Got to be right. And right is out of alignment with truth. Right is self-interest, where correct. I have a fetish with this work. I want to be correct. I want to be in alignment with truth.
Accurate,
and when it is accurate, when it is correct, then everybody is served by it. When it's about being right, the ego's cheap copy, then only the person who's trying to be right is served by it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's interesting.
It's the principles.
As you're speaking right now, a whole bunch is dropping in. So I talked about, how when two people come together, and there's this beautiful image of God and this image of God, and you taught about Pagra, right? And Pagra is the third entity. I got deeper meaning of what that is now. So, or what I feel that is, what's been shown to me. So, and we call in the principles, which we get to call in the principles of divine love. That's when I see Pagra and I come into union with another person. The minute they're in my presence, there is the overlap of our energies, and there's a Vesica Pisces between us, right? The Vesica. So when they have the overlap, you see the circles, and it looks like that, right? The two circles come together, and then you see the joining piece in between. That's the opportunity for Pagra to be really present. And in that state, that is when, if we allow it, if we're doing what we talked about last night, and we're taking our past memories and our baggage of our carbon-based memory and putting that file into the Vesica Pisces, well, you're going to only get the continuation of the creations of what you made up in the past, of the carbon-based memory, a replication from the replicate mind program. And the carbon-based memories come into the field. That's the creation. Because our journey is to hold an original life. And the original life, this is only in the present moment. There is no thought there. And when we know we are divine love, the essence of who we are is light, coming into union with the other person is light, and the amplitude of those two energies coming together is such a depth of creation that can happen in the presence of God. Two or three or more gathered, and the Christ is present. But the Christ is present all the time. Can you perceive it is the key. And then when we know
alignment,
and having the energy of Pagra, and we get to set what that is. That's the thing. That's why it's not defined. But there is a third entity that always gets created. And it could be open and pure, and divine love is presence, and you see the truth of God in the mirror of the other. And then get downloaded from the higher realms that come in and give us the information, and the revelation happens of what our soul is here to do. And if the other person has come into our exchange, they're there for a reason, or they wouldn't be in our reality. Now, what is that exchange to be? And how do I bring the highest truth in the moment in my interchange with this being in the
Breathe
moment?
and be in alignment.
Mm-hmm. So
That alignment is, to me, the Ruka, of course, is the breath. So having the breath that delivers the intelligence, and then the alignment is what brings the mind of Christ in. The full complement of information, energy that's available from that in which we live, move, and have our being comes from our alignment. And that's where, when we're out of alignment, that's where the physiology needs to come into.
Yeah. So I know now I can see.
State.
Yeah, Pagra is going to be like really holding that. I can keep that as a focus. It's I get to create based on and bringing in divine, the purity of divine love, which is absolute. There is no opposite. So, yeah,
and that's one of the ideas. Yeah, that is exciting. And that's one of the ideas from the Healing Through Relationships workshop, is that when two people, and, we're not saying to anybody, here, take this commitment and use it, but here's a model, and, create your own. If there's something you add to it, subtract from it, change it, whatever you do with it. But when two people come together and they create a commitment, and they create a personal code for the Pagra, and then, and this is a way to end power struggles, if each is true to their commitment, then they're going to yield themselves to the commitment, where their own mind comes up with a conflict, their own personal code comes up. Their agreement is to yield to the Pagra, so that the higher energy always governs, rather than that old, well, in my carbon-based memory, I just felt like doing it. So, Miss Regina, how are you, young lady?
Oh, hello.
Glad to see your hand up.
Oh, do I have my hand up? Okay. Well, yes.
Well, your microphone was open, so I assumed you had something to share with us.
I'm sorry. Well, I do. But thank you, Susan. I enjoyed your presentation. And it's very much in alignment. I'm asking the question, Michael, of that technology that you offered way back, of when you have a moderator and you have two people who are in conflict, and they go through this process.
Responsibility communication tool. Mm-hmm.
That's the one, yeah. And would you review that for me quickly? I think I know how to do it, but I just wanted to double check it with you.
Sure. Well, basically, what happens is, about the age of 4, just foundation work. By about the age of 4 in this culture, each of us has been brainwashed into being members of the one world universal religion of blame. Card-carrying members. I have a reality that shows up in my mind, and I talk about you as the reason I'm experiencing this reality, if it's painful, if it's traumatic. And so that's called projection communication. So if, let's say, sadness comes up in me, and I'm in denial and dissociation from my sadness, what you said really made me sad. Look what you've done to me. So that's projection communication. And virtually, almost no one I've ever spoken to has ever heard anybody do anything other than projection communication. Oh, my boss really upset me. Oh, that thing the government did really disturbed me. Oh, what the banker did, boy, man, that made me so angry. And that's all projection communication. So what responsibility communication is about is using language to accurately represent the construct my mind is holding, with the knowledge that it's my mind that generated it, rather than something you did. It might be my mind's response to what you did, and so you're involved because you're the object of attention, and that's how the whole projection game goes. And we've got a worksheet that goes with that, and I'll send you a link to the worksheet. So using the language that represents, yesterday when you said thus and so, that brought a lot of anger up in me. I walked away from that conversation, and I had to breathe. I had rage going on. I had some grief going on. And it's like, I don't even know what that's about. But what I'd really like, seeing as how you're the person who resonated it for me, what I'd really like, because I know that throughout all of nature, wherever there's a poison, poison ivy, there's always the antidote to poison ivy within a few feet of the poison ivy. The person who can resonate our pain is the person who holds the salve for our pain. If we can move out of projection communication, talking about them, if there's some sort of hostility or fear, it's time to end all conversation about anything outside of us and start to have a dialogue with what's going on inside of us. Oh, this is mine. And so what I'm realizing is I have an issue. I have this rage thing that came up when you said that yesterday. And what I'd like is your support. Do you have any ideas on what that might be about for me, or any way you can think of to support me in healing that rage that came up? So it's moving into responsibility communication, owning it, using words to describe my reality in terms that reflect that it is my reality generated by my mind, even though my mind is showing me that it's all about you.
Beautiful.
So that's the objective of it. And we do have a worksheet for that, so we'll send you a copy.
Thank you so much.
Actually, we have a workshop for that, a video for that. I'll send you a link to that too.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
And
Any other thoughts for you, young lady?
I just wanted to say to Regina, because we're is it on Wednesday? Because we're in, I'm helping, facilitating the codependency to interdependency workshop. Michael's done teachings on that before, and I'm doing my take on it with, of course, the foundation of Michael's work. But we're moving into responsibility communication on Wednesday. So maybe if it'd be an offering for her to just come and sit in and see what that's on Wednesday, to listen to that.
I need a link to that.
Pardon me?
We'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. And how's everybody else doing? Welcome, Susan Bingham and Joan. Joan, it was nice to see your face last night in the codependence facilitated study. That was awesome. Welcome, Kathy and Cammie. Anyone else have a thought for us? Question, answer, idea.
I'd like to ask Susan, because I found out, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, that my son had not remembered having been molested by my sister for years, when he was age 4 to about 8, while she did a lot of babysitting for us because we were paying for her rent, and it was all this sort of thing. And he didn't remember it until about 2 years ago. He was in therapy and suddenly he remembered it. And Susan, you mentioned leaning in. I didn't understand what that meant, but I'm just interested in the whole topic of how or why it can come out when it's been forgotten so long. After 7 years, our brain cells have completely changed into new ones or something like that. And so that stayed. And
Content stays. The vibratory pattern that is stored within the structure, my take is it's stored in the whole field.
mhm.
It's not just in the cell. And that the genetics are part of the whole field. And so that remains. And then, who knows, maybe he happened to work through an issue around intimacy that allowed that file to open. Maybe the night before he went to therapy, he watched a particular movie that resonated that, and the energy, when we live in denial and dissociation, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, or time heals all wounds. No,
Mhm.
time hides all wounds, doesn't heal them. So maybe the night before therapy, he just was intuitively guided or happened to watch this movie that resonated that. So instead of being, when you think of it as frequency, when a frequency is when it's in the dissociated state, it's like turning down the volume on the radio. Hard to hear.
Yeah.
But if he happened to watch a movie the night before, turned the volume up, and then went to therapy the next day, and bingo, it was right there ready to be processed.
Wow. Well,
Ready to deal with, who knows what all the factors are, but that would be my offering of some of the possibilities.
well, it doesn't really matter why or how it came up.
Yeah.
But
I would just offer, because so this is what my understanding. So everything is, we're just energetic beings, And then we come into these family systems where there are incoherent energetic patterning. That is exactly what Michael says. Yes, it filters into the physiology of the body, but you have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body, which makes us up. But it's actually just vibrating energy. And then there's in the life script of your son, obviously coming into this family system. But what I can say, if he experienced that, what I want to say, even to his aunt, if that's one that abused him, because this is important. The characters play the role they're assigned as souls. And even with your aunt, and then people have so much shame around people committing sexual abuse. And what's missing is love, the nighness and the connectedness that we are love. And because we've been raised by a bunch of behaviorists, if you do this, then I'll love you. If you don't do this, I won't love you. And that we live in that love equals approval. People hide their shame because they won't be loved. And then we don't allow the invitation for all family members to exist in the family system. So the constriction of the Satan energy around sexual abuse, if it's alcoholism, if it's infidelity, these are all energetic patterns that are in the family system in the field. That always in every generation that we come back, in every incarnation, we're being asked to liberate distorted energy or incoherent energy, or incoherent energy or disintegrated energy, any of those, how we want to give the language to it. And even hearing the wording of those, you can feel the constriction and I can feel it energetically. And we're asked to be bringing that to truth. So in the case of your family, there is that energetic pattern that exists, and the auntie played the role, and then your son was at the effect of that. And so there's a resonance there in his field and his learning and his life script that is to be liberated. That's already been tied in at the soul level. And then he had certain experiences that he had to learn here on his journey. We were all up in heaven designing our vessels on the computer system and saying, oh, I need to learn that, the guides. And guess what happens? The guides sit with you, and then you design it all. And then the life script goes right before you. You get to watch the movie before you come. And then the soul goes, oh my gosh, and do I have to do that one? I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm not sure I'm ready. So the guides say, well, if you're not ready, no big deal. So they splice it out of the movie. And then they reel it until you feel readiness to come down and do what is intended for the healing of the soul. So that's at the soul level, the energetic patterning. Now it comes back to, can we hold love conscious, active, and present as we see anything that is not love? Because in the truth of God, where we came from, there is only love. And I can assure you, when you go to heaven and you sit before God himself or herself, and I'm sitting there in my Buddha consciousness, or whoever's sitting in their Buddha consciousness, and I'm sitting there as the perpetrator who's raped babies my whole life. The love does not change, because love is absolute. She has the same love for the person, for the soul that did those horrendous acts, as he has for the one that achieved his Buddha consciousness. He just recognizes the one that did these horrendous acts he was in deep separation, and he went to the farthest of separation.
Let me throw in a thought here.
Yeah.
And we're back on the line of talking about love as a verb again. Let's remember love is a noun. It isn't he has the same love for this one, that one, that one. It is the being, the creator. The state of our human lives is the being of love.
Yes.
And so it doesn't change because of someone or something's actions. It's just that presence extended.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that correction. And so now I have a question for you, Susan. Knowing that this has occurred in the family system, knowing that your son was at the effect of family system trauma, and I was telling Anita and Andrea last night, if I want to know what's happened in the family system, I just have to watch what's happening in it now. If I see alcoholism, I assure you alcoholism was been a carbon-based memory pattern. If I see infidelity, if I see sexual abuse, it's a guarantee that these patterns are being replicated. And given the fact that you are this beautiful soul engaged in this work, what is your role? This will be a question, to bring love into this incoherent energy.
Bring your presence of being forward.
And even for the auntie that did that, can you imagine for her the invitation that she still is invited to exist in your presence? Don't get me wrong, we're not condoning behavior and going back to taking full responsibility for action, and also giving her the sensitivity that this is likely a family system pattern that she resonated with, so she fell into the role. Or she didn't fall into it, she was assigned to that role because she had work to do and cleanup to do. And mirroring the love to her and the readiness of your son, it's obviously his soul is ready because he's, number one, signed it in the life script. And then exactly what Michael said, this is what happens in the game. We go through activation portals. And I just had one this morning, for example. So, I did deep work yesterday. Also facilitated the dependency work. And then with the girls, did lots of work this morning, meditation. And in my feed, this video of a reader comes up, which I don't know, but there's a message from your dad. And right? So there it was. And oh my God, I cried. And it was exactly about reclaiming my innocence and for what happened as a child. Apologies. He's now a guide on the other side. A whole bunch came, and that I'm in my readiness for what I'm here to do for humanity through my innocence. A whole big message. And last night, when this is important, even the fact that you're asking me these questions today, because they're telling me this is really important, this exchange. So thank you, Susan, for this. Because I said to both Anita, and there was a lot of dark stuff coming in the conversation, and I said, if those perpetrators were before me, I would embrace them in my love. And I meant it.
And breathe.
And I meant it. And then this morning, this message comes through. So I could hold the frequency of love. And it is like a rose unfurling. In every single moment, we do an action that affects the next moment. And that determines what we get to see in the next part of our life script. If we stay in constriction, and we're always being given opportunities to be love. And every time you do it, you're enhancing the next experience in the next present moment. So, I would want to hold love for what we deem as the perpetrator. I don't know if that's your sister. I would just right now, really, I just want to exchange love with her. And for her not getting her attachment needs met, and the attachment that she wanted, she was seeking in an inappropriate way, not knowing any other way to get that fulfilled, and likely not knowing the harm she was doing at the time. Yeah.
So breathing with you, Susan, and your whole family system, both Susans.
Yeah.
For any of that sort of abuse. And I think, Susan B., what was meant by leading us, the child who's been assaulted, who's been harmed, or experienced the energy of harm in a particular situation, then has difficulty even conceiving of the fact that there could be support, leaning into asking, here I am, I need a hug, I need somebody to hold me. If one's been assaulted, offended, it doesn't even come to the mind that that's even possible. It's like that's something that's been, is that what you were talking about, Susan?
That's what I got from it. That's exactly. So, and I work with clients and things, and also we've done lots of work, but a lot of us that have, or mothers have left where there wasn't a bond really established, that wasn't there. It's not even conceivable in our mind and energy that that's possible. Or in my case, my mother, I saw her collapse so many times mentally. This is unconscious, that she couldn't hold what I needed. And I could see the demonstration, even in friendships. I was always the one, like, being there. I've just only learned to lean in. I'm really, in the last, I'm going to say, maybe year and 2 years, and a lot more since coming into this work. But I would just do all my processing on my own, but I would be there as a container for everybody else, but not myself. But I've come a long way.
And we invite everybody to lean into this community, and
Yeah,
that the support is here.
So lean
this has been a
in.
blessing.
Lean in. I'm still not clear about
So
what
leaning.
that
So let's
means.
say if you were in I'll give you an example. So let's say you and I were sitting. Right. There's an element of leaning in right now. You're sharing with me what's up for you. We're building intimacy here. Intimacy is what you're bringing to this call today, and you're saying what's up. And so let's say even when you have a charge and you're working an issue, and Michael's there for support, that's leaning in.
Oh, okay.
That's leaning in. Or let's say, I'll give you an example. I went to the event with Anita and Lindsay, and I came to lots of tears. Lindsay just held me. Well, I cried. I was on the couch, and I was just leaning into her, physically leaning into her. And she was just stroking my hair, where I was releasing a whole bunch of stuff and what I know to be true and what I'm seeing in this world. And so that's leaning in, and someone being a safe container and a safe witness while you have your process. And
the deeper the assault somebody's experienced, the more difficult it is to open to ask for support and to do that leaning in.
And if you never had it, if you've not, and even when Lindsay was doing that, I'd said to her, I've never experienced this before. My physiology was shifting, and also what a mother is truly intended, a divine mother would do with a child. Just being cradled in her arms, stroking her, everything's going to be okay. And yes, sweetie, you have some big feelings. And
So,
yes,
Susan,
I know how hard this is, and all of that. That's set up at a young age. But if we never got that in the beginning, that is not even a tool in the tool belt.
So when you were being held and you were crying, you could let that holding in?
Only because I can tell you why. Because I would not have. I've known Lindsay now for 10 years almost. She started as my client. We have done many workshops and worked together. Many, and we've built the safety and the trust over time. And she's leaned into me a lot, and now I'm starting to lean in. And I did this on purpose. Andrea and Lindsay hosted the retreat, and I wanted to support them, and I just let myself receive this. Both of them said, "Oh my," Lindsay said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm." Doing this for my teacher, basically. Like, she still sees me that way somewhat, but we're still moving more into, now it's reciprocal.
Wow.
It's not, and so I trust her with my life. I trust her with my life, and when I leaned into her, it was so full of love and care and attention and nurturance. And also just pacing alongside me, and how, yes, sweetie, I know how hard it is. All of those things. So that's leaning in. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And all I can think of is, if I ever became that open in that situation, I would probably fall in love with the person in a way that was not healthy. I don't know how to set up the proper.
My offering is that's one of your family system issues to work through. That's your sister's issue, and that's just an issue to work through.
It is her issue, and I love being reminded that love is, being the presence of love is the way to go here, because believe it or not, I forget that, and I don't want to talk to my sister, and I don't want to see her, and I ask myself, should I bring this up with her? It's all sitting there undigested, and to hear that it's possible to not have to deal directly, no confrontation, hold the space of love. This is what I
Yeah.
hear you saying, Susan.
Yeah.
And accept her. And I know why she's so hurt. I saw it myself.
Yeah.
Being the baby, and I was next to the baby, I saw a lot of abuse
Mm-hmm.
coming her way and knew she wouldn't be all right. And she hasn't been all right. And she has.
And very likely she was sexually abused.
Well, I don't think she was sexually abused, but she was beaten. And whether she was or not, I have no idea. And she's never mentioned it. And I wasn't either, as far as I can see. I've never had that kind of abuse. But I think on some level, well, who knows what is what on there. But she falls in love with unattainable, like she's had a crush on Kevin Costner for years and went through a whole phase of being scammed by a group of Nigerians who talked to her as if they were Kevin and used fake Kevin voice. So she thought that he and she were going to meet, and she was giving her money to him. She has no money. We support her. So our money was going to this fake Kevin. I mean, it just goes on and on.
So can I make an offering with that to
Yeah.
help you understand a little bit more from her perspective? So, well, two things I want to say. The first one, can I ask you if you would willing to do something and just put your hand on your heart with me for a minute? And just like I do in the butterfly that I talk about, right? And if you're willing, just to follow my lead, I want to move into acceptance for that part of you that falls in love with others.
Mm-hmm.
And just coming into your body, right into your heart space. Because that beautiful, I want to acknowledge that part of you. Say, I see you and thank you for acknowledging. And that part of you that believes that it has to yearn for love outside yourself because she doesn't yet know she is that love. That's all. And you get to say out loud, if you will, or in your mind's eye, I accept myself.
I accept myself
as the person who falls in love with others readily.
Falls in love with others readily.
Yeah, and just be in the energy of that. And let her be with you. Not from a place of disgust or disdain, but just from a place of acceptance. This is a part of me, and I love all of me.
Yeah, I've always wondered, because I do think there's a good part of falling in love with people, and I haven't wanted to get rid of that.
Yeah, but and you get, so it will be revealed. It's, I'm really realizing the journey here for all of us is true self-acceptance. That is what it means to be whole. This holy topic is to be whole. And God knows when you accept your full presence in your own presence, that's when the magic happens, because you become whole. You return back to the beingness that you are, that you always were, but the mind then meets it.
And if you only give yourself permission to experience your wholeness in the presence of particular circumstances, a person who has these attributes, that's what we call falling in love.
Yeah, absolutely.
I give myself permission. Now I give myself permission to experience my being.
Yeah.
And we then project that onto the other person, like, oh, I'm doing it because of them. But the truth is, it's my being that I'm tapping into.
Yeah, it is.
And when I can, and that was a great exercise to do, Susan, to come back to accepting and receiving that part.
That's huge. And then to your sister, so this is what happens, because I can relate to her in this way. When I lived in an environment as a child that was just chaos and trauma, I lived in my mind. I had quite an imagination. And then to try to bridge the imagination into reality, if it's never been able to land there, because that's a safety strategy for her to live in delusion or even, illusion. I don't want to say delusion. We're all in an illusion.
Or in love,
In
quote
love.
unquote.
Yeah, and so she never had
What the
it.
world calls it.
So this love,
That's
and
what
it's
keeps her
interesting.
alive.
And guess what? This is the important piece. Very important. Not by accident that this information about your son in therapy is now coming to the surface, because it's not about your son. It's about you. Because everything in your reality is pointing you back to you. And also you have that in seeking love. And so that tells me the core fundamental that your sister had it and you also have it. The core fundamental roots of attachment, of being secure in your own being, was not afforded to you in the family system that you got.
Right.
And so if I take the template that the human condition is, evolution happens and maturity happens naturally if the conditions are conducive. So we know that you have gaps in your development. And guess what? And you know which age I'll tell you what happened. Sorry, I just got to grab my book. So love, I can guarantee for you and your little baby sister, the age of 5, love and warmth. These are roots that would have been laid in your developmental stages. Year 1, the attachment happens to the sensory experience. Year 2, it's about sameness and identity. Year 3 is about longing and loyalty. Year 4 is about significance and approval. Year 5 is all about love and warmth. And year 6 is about being known. If this foundation is built in some of these tap roots, you can see the roots are deeper. These foundational pieces are so important. When that happens, and these attachment 9-ness criteria is set for these are foundational pieces for the evolution of man. And then
Nutrients.
Maturation, to be your own being and being secure and feeling completely in your own will, and how to individuate and how to interactively function with others and how to adapt through life. When these are laid well, that's securely attached. And then we venture out into the world and have our experiences. So I can say now, in talking about you and your sister, age 5, that love and warmth was missing, or love for sure. You didn't get that established. This was not laid, this particular root for your psyche and your mind body unit did not get established. And so now that's up. With this coming forward, especially, how do I know? It seems like it's now coming up with the recognition, or your son coming forward with this experience. So that tells me I'm very excited. It tells me his psyche is ready to process it. It also tells me your psyche is ready to process it.
Good.
And you get to be using the breath, but also watching the clues and what's up for you. And maybe Michael could help with a mind shifter around this piece, or it might be something is now safe, easy, and healing for me to process all of my big feelings around seeking love outside of myself.
And just breathe into that one.
I want something much more. I mean, I might be in avoidance or resistance here, but what I want is to be able to accept those arms and cry into those arms the way you did, Susan. Way to go. I can't imagine being that open.
You will. You're on a journey. So I can tell you, I'm 61 rotations around the sun. And it has only been the last, the vulnerability piece to this level is the last, since coming to Michael's work. To really start to lean in and to lean into, and also guess what? This is the part I know for us, Susan. People are there, want to embrace us in their love. We can't receive it.
Yeah.
they're open and ready and willingness, and the energy we send out, they reverberate back to us. So
Yeah.
there's me with this guarded energy of intimidation to keep myself safe. So people thinking I have it all together.
Mhm.
I don't need support, not allowing myself to lean it out. So then I had to make effort and walking towards building the bridge to lean in. And I had to, by the way, I had to test the waters. And of course, Lindsay, I love her to pieces. We've been on this journey 10 years, like 10 years together. And I helped her. She's also the same. She had a lot of trauma to work through, and I helped her with that and held space. And the depth of love we have for each other in the soul group, in the soul family is, I mean, her and Andrea, by the way, I look to my left and to my right, and I'm on a mission. And I am just thrilled because I know Andrea's doing her work, and I know Lindsay's doing her work.
Co-pilots.
They're my wing women, right? They're my wing souls of the journey and what's to come. And so, but others that love us, that embrace us in their love, want to be support for us. That's what I had to learn.
Yeah.
They want to show up.
Yeah. I believe that. Yeah. It's all inside thing.
Yeah.
And embrace them into wholeness rather than pieces.
Good catch, Michael. I heard that too.
And I have faith in you. And Regina's up. I have faith in you. Honestly, how you show up and your commitment to this process. So you know what this tells me? This is so exciting. This just tells me you're reaching a new level of vitality. And now the healing crisis is to go, okay, and you know what? You survived everything you've been through already. And I was telling that at the workshop. There's 100 people there. I got up and telling people, guess what, everybody? We survived everything we've been through. We survived all the suffering.
Survived it on the way in, you'll survive it on the way out. And then thrive through it once you've thrown it away.
So, Susan, I am 20 years senior to you.
And you are magnificent.
Yeah, just a kid.
No, what I'm saying to myself is, well, Susan's young. She's got some flexibility in there. I'm all ossified in my crap.
Oh, look at those thoughts. Let me point it at
what are you? Who are you talking about here? What kind of conversation is that? Susan, bingo.
So I see, and you only came on screen once before, but I saw this beautiful light, radiant being before me.
Well,
I saw a physical presence. I want you to receive this.
Okay.
The words, Susan, are thank you.
Yeah.
Miss Bingham, thank you. This is
All right, I'm coming on.
Yay! Oh my
Lean
God.
into
Okay, beautiful.
Lean into it and thank you.
The reading glasses, I got to put on my regular, as my mother-in-law used to call them.
Thank you for coming on. And you know what?
Keepers.
And you know what? Guess what? This is the best part, because all of you is invited. The part of you that falls in love with people you give your love easily to others, and then it moves more into an attachment love than not yet understanding you are already it. Your magnificent state.
Yeah.
And right now you can lean into us.
Yeah,
Right now. There's a caring community here that you can just lean into. Like, trust us.
And you were loved.
We are here to hold the space.
Exactly. And if you were before me right now, I would just hold you in my arms, and I would just hold you and be stroking your hair. And say, oh, sweetie, you were so deserving.
Accept that. That would be wonderful. What I think I would do is get the heebie-jeebs and run. But I'm listening. I'm going to.
But you'd probably breathe and work through that. That heebie-jeebie stuff. I mean, you're so courageous. You've done so much work over the years you've been on this show. It's amazing.
Well,
and this is just the next layer.
I do feel that huge vitality. And I've been listening to a lot of Carl Jung, and somehow it's a good fit. It's like a whole new world. So anyway, I don't need to. It's just added into the richness. And
will you do me a favor?
What?
And if everybody's willing to do this,
okay.
I just want you to sit in open-handed position. Like, I don't know if you can or the phone, but in open-handed position.
I'll set up.
Okay, perfect.
I'll sit.
And we're just going to have open-handed position, and you just get to sit and receive. I want you to close your eyes and be at your heart. You just close your eyes. You don't have to see us. You just close your eyes.
Okay.
I want you to take your awareness to your heart and just breathe.
Okay.
Okay, you just breathe. And now I want you to experience, everybody on the call is just emanating love towards you. There's no expectation. You just get to receive. And as you breathe in, receive the love. As you breathe out, you release the love. Nothing to do, no performance necessary. By the mere fact you are here in love, you get to have this natural exchange of it. And seeing you being 80 is a number.
81.
81 is a number, and you get to be in your full radiance. And
Michael's
you are not
turning 80
limited.
soon.
You're not limited. Just only receiving that love. And I can feel there's a heart wall, right? I'm just going to get this part. There's a heart wall. And
Yep.
because I can tell, I just have to share, if it's okay if I share this piece. Because of your experience as a child, and you were such a sensitive soul, and your entire physiology and all of you was love. And it wasn't being, your family system could not meet you at your lovability. So just take that in for a minute, that your family system could not meet you at your lovability. And so you started to establish a heart wall. And how do I know it? Because I also did it. And now you get to, through all of this beautiful soul family, we've all been around the block together many times.
Mm.
And now you're in this vessel and you found yourself back to your soul family. That's how magic you are. And you get to let the love that you are back in. And it will be a process, my darling. It's going to be a process. And you don't have to rush it. God's going to give you all the opportunities. Your inner guidance of Ruka is going to work with you, give you all of the opportunities to practice and see where you're still guarded and you won't let people in, see where you may attach still a little. And that's all okay.
Nice.
You're supported.
Just receive. You are so supported. You are such from my perspective, you are such a beautiful light to this community. You bring deep wisdom, your generosity of care and support when you feel others going through difficulty. Always bringing love into this field, and now you get to receive it. And I would love that you take that into your everyday. And knowing this community is like a bubble around you as you walk in the world. And all of us get to do this because this is such a safety net of support. And we know the truth of God. We are the light of God. And we get to emanate and radiate this out into the world. I sent a song out to our little group that I am the light. Any darkness, come to me. I will transform you to that which you are, which is love. And you get to walk in the world being encased and protected, if the need for that, and safety, all those words that we need as humans, in the armor of God, in your heart, your beautiful sacred heart. And I am so glad you're on video. Oh my God.
Well,
that's just brilliant.
And we breathe with you
thank you.
and embrace you in our hearts.
Thank you.
Yes. You are received, my darling. You are received.
And I think Regina has a thought for you.
Well, Susan, I just love being with you.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful to see you, Susan.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to tell you a quick story. I'm 90 now.
Good work, woman.
And
getting younger every day.
Yeah.
And when I went to bikes to Michael Ryce's workshop, but 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
My heart was broken. Every time I made a heart, there was a line straight down the middle.
Oh, man.
And it stayed and stayed until I did a lot of other work. And 3 years ago, I moved into a community
Mm-hmm.
of older people, aging from 68 up and so on. And because this is something I had never done before, I made a decision. I'm going to learn everyone's name I can, which is hard for an old person because they're losing their memory.
Right.
So
That's a thought.
it was my memory exercise, right? I'm going to remember.
Right.
And then I'm going to find out something about them just to get to know them, get out of my own self, right? Get to know them and love them. Because my morning prayer, I do my Qigong, and I do the Heavenly Father, Mother God, please help me see. How does it go? I'm sorry for what I have done. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. It's a Ho'oponopono prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that prayer. And so what happened is I started saying it to everybody I met. And oh, hello, hi, what is your name? And all this and all this.
Wonderful.
100 names I got to. Of course, I've forgotten some of them. But the people that I see often in my floor, I know everyone's name. But there's one woman on this floor that when she sees me, she will talk to everybody else. But when she sees me, she goes into, you need to apologize to me. It's all on her face. She doesn't say a word. This is very interesting to talk about in terms of what we're holding on to. And because I have made this commitment to love everybody, no matter what they've done, it has nothing to do with what they've done. It's just, I love you, period. And so I looked at her, I says, Telvia, I'm so sorry. How are you? Now, she didn't respond, but what I am finding, if I continue to give that kind of love to everybody I meet, which I make an effort to, that there are changes that will subtly be made.
Yes.
You heard me say, I am so sorry. She wanted to be apologized to. I knew that just by looking. I don't even know this woman. I don't know her. I have no history with her whatsoever. But I do know that she needed to have someone say that to her.
Wow.
So I'm going to give you the history of it. The continuing story here, the soap opera here, is that
I love it.
I know that I've done that with other people when I came in is, who are you? Why are you living here? That type of thing. Because I don't really fit in this community in terms of my background and their background. It doesn't matter. So this one woman who had an issue with me and called me out of the situation, and I says, oh, I'm sorry. What do you have a suggestion for me? That type of thing.
Yeah.
And so this went on and on and on. But this lady finally has come to change her attitude. It's not who are you, but she knows my name now.
Wow.
This has taken 3 years to gradually break through these layers of separation that we all have. Making a commitment that I love you no matter what. I'm interested in you. I get out of myself and think about who you are, why you're here, what is your purpose, blah, blah, blah. So there's only getting better here.
Wow. That's such a great story.
Well, you're here, lady. You're here to hear the story, and you're smiling. Look at you.
And you're on camera. And guess what? I'm going to put an intention in the field because I'm being called, and hopefully, not hopefully, with Michael, I want to talk about it. There's going to be in October, I will be doing an event in Kauai. And for whatever reason, it has to be there. And doing Michael's work. And I'm holding the field that you would be there so you can rest into my presence. And I could hold you and give you, and I could show you with no expectation. And just hold you and let you know your readiness, that you are fully received in this plane. I'm putting that as an intention I want to hold in the field.
Well,
Take a breath. It's safe to receive that, Susan.
I'm taking a breath, and my first response is not worth repeating, but
Yeah, that's okay.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
that's okay. So that all that isn't, so all that's happening now. So those thought forms tell you what you're in separation of. That's all. Because
Yeah.
the love is you. And when the thought forms come up and they try to tell you something different, because that we know that's coming from the non-being mind. That's all. Because any thought and hostility or fear is exhibiting that.
Mm-hmm.
So we got each other. We got each other's back. This community has you. You have the community. And let's lift the veil so we know that we're home. And the love that we are. And then let's go to Michael's New Year's Eve party in 4049. And we're going to
49,
dance.
49.
49. We're going to dance our butts off. And we're just going to be emanating our beautiful light in the world. Yeah. I'm there, Michael. You know it, right?
Got it. I got it. So holding the space. And thank you for that interaction, Susan Bingham. And thank you for that response, Susan Fluick.
Yep.
And maybe, Susan Bingham, this would be a picture you'd put on your mirror.
Attachment, one image. All right, you just texted something to me.
I did.
Oh, Michael, yikes.
That's a great picture of you. Or did somebody teach you something else about yourself?
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite you to put that right in the center of your bathroom mirror. And every time you look at it, what a beautiful picture of me. And embrace yourself. Lean into yourself.
The best
And I have
can
it
do
on my
right now
phone to
is
do the same.
what, Michael? Missed it.
And I have it on my phone to do the same.
For yourself, you mean? Put your mug up there.
No, I'm talking about yours.
No, you put yours up there. All right. Well, thank you
Cool.
all. Thank you,
All right.
everybody, because we sort of made off with the meeting.
Awesome. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Muchas gracias, everybody. Best year yet of your eternal life. Thanks for coming to play. Talk to you tomorrow.